Hey there, coin livers. Just doing a little work here in the old shop, and realized it's high time I come clean. Yes, folks, Hoogie is here. Y'all might remember my Australian cowboy hat, and the good thing is when you have to apologize, you can squeeze it like this and be very sincere, and then it goes back into shape. But a minute ago, I made this video one time, and it would have been great, but alas, we had trouble with the microphone for some reason, and there's no sound. So all you can see is me talking, but you can't hear me talking on that video. It's gone now. Reason I need to apologize is to the post office. Yes, the U.S. Post Office. And I'm sure everyone would disagree with me, but they do a moderately decent, sort of okay job a lot of the time. So despite what I've said about them in the past, we have a little different take on it now. Yesterday I was doing some work on my truck, just trying to change the oil. And by the way, having a terrible time with that filter for some reason. And my neighbor walks up. He's a neighbor that lives almost a half mile away, around the corner and down the hill. And he is the mailbox, the postal carrier goes to right before the postal carrier comes to the Hoogie compound. And he had a piece of my mail. He'd had it for months, and I had given up on it. I had even been reimbursed by the seller, the eBay seller, for this here Benjamin Franklin $half with the Bugs Bunny variety. And Bugs Bunny variety, as most of you know, comes from a Clash. Well, from the back side, we can take a look here at Ben's up close here. We're going to look at Ben's beautiful face. There we go. Yeah, buddy. Look at those choppers. That's his nose, and that's his teeth. Looks kind of like a vampire more than Bugs Bunny. But hey. So there's Ben Franklin. The thing finally came. I am enthused. Except that it looks like it has a scratch on it, and the teeth don't show up as vividly as I had hoped. This thing here, this eagle on the reverse, that's the source of the teeth mark in the Clash. When two dies hit together, they formed this little anomaly right there. Those are actually wingtips from that eagle that are showing through on the Clash. Somewhere over here, yeah, look at that. Nasty scratch in that thing. I don't know. And up close it looks quite a bit worse than it does in hand, but to me it's a real weakly scratched coin. But the price was right, because I got reimbursed. The guy told me if the coin, he sent me a note, said if the coin does turn up, then just keep it and call it even. And so don't know what's going to happen to that coin. It may get sent away, it may be given away, it may be a prize giveaway or something like that from the hobby shop here. So as I said, now the tracking information from the post office said that it got all the way from Vancouver, Washington to my hometown post office, and never was scanned as if it was going out for delivery. But it did go out for delivery, it just got delivered to the wrong house. So post office, you did your job, almost, and I apologize. So, because I said that somebody at the post office probably stole it, and judging from some of the tampering of the other packages that we received, that wasn't much of a stretch to believe. Now, there's another thing to bring up now, since we're talking about apologies. And I showed a coin a while back. It was the alligator eye Morgan dollar. It is this baby right here, which you're not going to possibly be able to see the alligator eye, but it's the 1887 alligator eye. Morgan. We'll take a look at the images here in just a second. Now the reason this is one of my apology items, and this is a big one, folks. When you're doing videos, I haven't lost my place yet, believe it or not. When you're doing videos, sometimes you'll say things that you know are not right, and some of them are really embarrassing. Like the time that I called a Weinman design, I called it a Saint Gaudens. That just bugged me to no end. So to those of you who caught it, please don't give up on Hoogie. He does know the difference. But when I was showing this alligator eye, I was showing some of the doubling around the north end of the coin, around the rim, and it looks like machine doubling. It really does. And when I was calling it what amounts to hub doubling, at least one person got miffed about it and just left. Didn't want to watch anymore. So let's see if we can do a little better job with our bibliography work, huh? And we'll go over here. I'm gonna do it this way. I got my iPad here, and I'm on the web page for vamworld.com, and it says for the VAM 12. This is actually a VAM 12A, which has a clash, but VAM 12 has all the alligator eye stuff on it. It says on the obverse, front of eye doubled, liberty slightly doubled on right side, and ear slightly doubled on right side. We'll look at that in just a second. First 3 stars on right, and all left stars and plurib, plurib, slightly doubled towards the rim. Well, I believe our coin has those, and they come straight from VAM World. Here we have that coin. We'll go over to the eyeball. That's the most important. All right, there she is. And if I tilt it just a little bit, you can see that's clearly not just one line, but that's 2 lines over there. I swear. I may have to do another apology here if I can't get it to show. But this microscope is not ideal for this either. The gooseneck style microscope, like there you can kind of see the sort of what looks like 2 lines. With the loop, it's a lot easier to see it, I guess. The pluggable 2.0 microscope got a good camera in it. Has a crappy base. I threw that base to the side as soon as I saw it, and I put a heavier base drilled a hole for the 1/4 20 threads and all that. All right, here we have some of the other details. This is what some people don't like. You look at the tops of these letters. There's a little shelf on there, and it looks for all the world looks like mechanical doubling. The U, that one even looks like a little die deterioration, and the R, little shelf-like formation there. The I, it has that. The B very definitely has that. It has hints of that same kind of thing going on under inside the B, where the D shapes are inside of the B, and not so much on the U, but it says on plurib you have some doubling to the outside, that is toward the rim. Well, and if it is what I believe it is to be, class 2 hub doubling, then we should not expect to see much in the way of split serifs and that sort of thing. It does look very much like machine doubling. Now down here at the bottom, it's hard to see, but there's some what looks like machine doubling on the outside of these stars. And back in the day, and it's really tough to see on the scope, but to the outside there's a little shelf on the star, and that is nothing in the world but Class 2 hub doubling. One way we know that is, well, Van World says so, that it's on the alligator eye. But the other way we know is that it's on both the north end and the south end of the coin at the same time. Machine doubling would only be one direction, not both, and certainly not any more than that. So yeah, I believe we do have some Class 2 doubling to the outside of these elements here near the rim. You can see inside that 8 is a funny looking shelf-like structure, and the other 8 also has that. Seemed like the 7 had some of that, and all that looks very similar to machine doubling. However, I believe it to be Class 2 hub doubling, in part because the vanworld.com book says so. Now let's look up here at Liberty. That was another pickup point. We have doubling, yep, to the right on Liberty. And you say, to the right, Hoogie, I thought the doubling was to the north and to the south. Well, for some reason, somewhere between the two dies involved here, they had this NQ word Liberty doubled somehow to the southeast, to the right and down. And that's probably the same direction which the eyeball is done, is to the right and down. All right, so there's those. Let's take a look at that ear. They mentioned the ear, and the very outside rim of her ear does have some faint shelf-like doubling on there, wherever it is. And one of these days, folks, I'm gonna grow up and get some good tools to work with. Now, speaking of tools, when we first came on, I was using this little thing here, and yeah, this is another time. I apologize for using the tool for the incorrect purpose, but yeah, this is a socket extension, and I use it to set T-nuts and things like that down into a hole. I hit it like that, and over time it does what we used to believe is the source of Class 2 doubling, where the working hub, in making lots and lots of working dies, it develops wear, and around the perimeter of this, if this was a hub, around the perimeter it gets distended, it gets deformed, and it makes poor strikes, makes funny looking shelf-like things. Well, since then, a little more science applied, we've learned that it also is more likely that the heating of these things, all right, the hub goes, working hub makes the working die, and they had to do them 2 times. This is back in the days of the multiple squeeze technique. They did it at least twice, and so they take that hub out when it was, when the hub was being made. They took the hub out, and then they hit it with the master die. After it was heated, they hit it with the master die again. Now, when the working hub goes into the oven, then is when it gets distended, especially if it doesn't cool down all the way. They hit it with the master die. I'm sorry, folks. Hoogie does apologize, as always. And they hit it with the master die again to make it do. Son of a gun, something has moved because of the molecular change due to the heat, and we end up with this kind of funny, almost like machine doubling around the outside of the coin. It doesn't really explain the doubled eye or the doubled Liberty, but it does explain this business of a spread at north and south end of the coin at the same time. So anyway, when they're done right, they're nice and crisp and clean, no caffeine, right? And they can make perfect coins. If you put a coin that's distended, a hub that's distended after after or before a good fresh one, and then go to one that's messed up, then you end up with some of the kind of things that we see right here on the alligator, this specimen of the alligator eye. And anyway, there's that one there. This happens to be a clash, so it is the VAM 12A for you variety nerds. You know who you are. Over here, there's a little place right there. You see at the edge of her, whatever that is, her hat, hair, and there's weird looking lines that don't look like they belong there. They're like out in the field. That's clash. From the other side. On the other side, it's actually a lot easier to see because it's right beside the olive branch. Well, it's supposed to be easy to see. It is in hand, but the that clash shows up over right beside that olive branch on the wreath. I'm gonna back up just a little bit so you can see it, so I won't have to apologize anymore. I've been apologizing all day. This is the second time I've done this video. So there we go. There's your clash. So hey law, everybody's seen it now. So there we have it. And folks, do yourself a favor and get to know your neighbors. Maybe go over there and split a glass of cranberry juice or something with them. It's good for urinary tract health. And to all my neighbors, sorry I haven't got to know you all, but give it time. The post office will be delivering some of our coins to you any day now, probably. Till then, folks, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'm Hoogie. This has been The Hobby Shop. Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. Tonight at 9:30, check out Ken Peavy's big show. You might just win a bunch of coins for free.